There's been some pretty big fires happening across the pond. Undoubtedly, people are suffering. There is a big fire. Look at that. That's definitely a real fire with real smoke, and it's really going to affect the people there. However, this doesn't mean the world is going to end because of climate change. Now, let me unpack why that actually is. Because, okay, yeah, that's pretty serious. Look at that. That's going to be pretty hot, right? But if we look at a few things, and we're going to look at some graphs here for you. So you've got me to guide you, so it won't be too dry. You know, looking at graphs can be a little bit dry, but look at this. So what you're looking at right now is the burn acreage from the United States. And so on the right, what you're seeing is a very, very common tactic employed by our enemies who like to manipulate data. They'll take a graph and then they'll pick a specific date to give you readings from the graph. And they won't show you what's before the graph. Because if you just saw the one on the right, you'll be, oh my God, look at that. The rise in CO2 is definitely related somehow to more fires. Like, definitely. Like, just look at how they've put it on the graph and it just looks like it. But then if you look on the one on the left, you see that the burn acreage was huge compared to what it was now. So much less is happening now. But if you can manipulate data and the way people perceive things, people then start to look at CO2 as the fucking evil devil boogeyman. We need to get rid of it. However, it's not the case. In fact, there's nothing that suggests that CO2 is actually going to destroy everything in our way of life. In fact, from all the scientists I've been speaking to and all the research that I've done myself, looking like we want more CO2. So you've got that. You've got that. That's just one little example of one graph of how they manipulate data. And I've got a couple more things to show you guys right now. And one of them is the same thing that we've just looked at, but for Europe. Right? So let's take a look at that. So we've got this. And essentially, the red line is 2023, and the blue line is the average from 2012 to 2022. So even that is a 10-year low. Look at that. All right. So if it was somehow CO2 is going to end the world, surely all over the world would just possibly be on fire, or is it global boiling now? I don't know. It's hard to keep up with the fucking ridiculousness, isn't it? But if that was the case, one would expect that it would be the end of the world all over the world and not just in certain places, right? And just finally, you may have seen this one before because this one's come up a lot and it's brilliant. It's so good to refer people back to this because you can't argue with the data. Go back to 1920. Hundreds of millions of people were dying because of climate-related deaths. That's floods, droughts, storms, wildfires, extreme temperatures, and that means extreme cold too. So we didn't have all this abundant, amazing technology and fossil fuels and fucking lights and whatever. All of this great stuff that's come from the modern age. And that was serious for people, you know. A serious winter would wipe out loads of people, I suppose. But now, in our current day, it's like a fraction of people are dying from climate-related deaths to when they were before. How could that be possible if CO2 is this evil boogeyman and there's actually more CO2 now than there was in 1920, but a lot less people are actually dying now? How is that actually possible if CO2 is supposedly this dangerous, deadly gas that's going to destroy everything on this entire planet? Maybe they're chatting shit. I think they are. You can check out thegreatclimatecon.com, all of the great information on unpacking all of this bullshit, the podcast, every episode. Check it all out. And you can see for yourself the bullshit. Big love to the people who are suffering from these fires, but just put it in perspective, guys, it's way better than it was. And it's actually improving. The trend line shows that in general, it's actually improving.